cold Dynamite delight. If I cough, I'm sorry. I've been coughing a little bit. Well, it's just about to start. It's cold in my apartment. Even with heat, it's cold. But we're not worrying about the cold. We're worrying about how hot is Dynamite. And I'll tell you this. With the controversy and guys, I don't know what's wrong with people. What's your problem? What is your problem? I've said it before years ago, and I still say it. Throw someone who's in the mid-card at the main title and see what happens. Sometimes you get gold, sometimes you don't. Jinder Mahal, where people were bitching about it, where actually I think Seth Rollins is actually legitimately hurt. He is hurt. But they don't know how bad yet. I checked. Just in case anybody asked, did you check? I did check to see if there was an update other than what's already been given from the evaluation. They don't know yet, at least when I'm making this recording. If it's been released that he can't work, then that's something. Because this is being done at 10:20, 10:25 right now. So I didn't see anything new. Maybe there's something up now, but from what I looked, nothing new yet. They're still under evaluation. But don't know what's wrong, y'all. You don't need to get upset if Jinder Mahal or Hook gets an opportunity. You want more in the company, don't you? You want more for WWE. Well, TKO WWE. I gotta be accurate. This is not WWE. If anybody's still delusional that we're still dealing with WWE, that's a joke. We are dealing with TKO WWE like it's TKO UFC. That's what we got. They've been owned. They're owned by TKO, not Endeavor anymore. It's TKO, Endeavor, UFC, WWE. All four companies are working together. That's what they got. And we want to see something happen with a mid-carder eventually. So you may not be happy with a little bit of Jinder. I don't care. I'm just glad he had the opportunity back in 2017. And here Hook gets his opportunity, but I will give my thoughts on him in a minute. Now, let's open with something unfortunately I did not think about. TNT Championship, Christian versus Dustin Rhodes. I did not watch Collision. I want to make it clear. I flat out forgot to watch Collision. I did. I didn't see Dynamite. Actually, I did see Dynamite, but I didn't see Rampage. I didn't see Collision, and I didn't see Battle of the Belts. I didn't see any of it. So, for me personally, I don't know what happened. So, seeing this, it made me feel like it's just so... There's no build there. And anybody can say, dude, there is a build. There's a build. 1 week build. 1 week, I'm saying again, 1 week build. What the fuck is that? Sometimes you need more than a week. Sometimes you need more than 2 weeks. If you want people to feel important, give them a month. What's the problem? So when we get this match, which wasn't that bad, it was okay. But I didn't expect Christian the job here. I knew he was going to job. But the problem here is, you got Dustin who's been there almost near the beginning of the company. Almost. He left WWE, then eventually went to the company. That's no problem. But this is a chance for him to try and get a title. And it doesn't feel important. It just feels like a match. With only 1 week to even talk about, let alone to make it mean something. So, there you go. Next. We got a tag match. Now, let's make this clear. Chuck is injured, so he can't wrestle yet. Penta is fine, but Rey Fenix is injured. He can't wrestle. He's hurting. He can't generally wrestle. So we had Commander taking the place of Penta's brother. And then we got Trent working with Orange Cassidy, which, for the first time, supposedly in the company, these two have ever tagged together in a regular, straight tag match. So this could have been built more better. Now, maybe on Collision or on Rampage or even Battle of the Belts, they did talk about it. But unfortunately, it just feels like a regular match. No build. And even if they did talk about it, how many days is that? Only a few days. And it doesn't really give us much. So we get a match, which was not a bad match. I'm not going to tell you it was. But then you wonder where they're going with Trent. because after what happened in the Battle Royal, and for the last couple of matches it's been happening, he seems way more aggressive. Are they finally going to do something with him? Now, in the end, we got who won that match. It was Trent who got the pin. It was not Orange. But it wasn't even about Trent Beretta. About Trent. It was more about the international champion and one of the members of Undisputed Kingdom coming out, walking up to the ring with his boys in tow. Let's make it clear, the tag champs are his boys in tow. They are his boys, and that's what we got. And we get a simple, down-home, mustache-wheeling, let me give it to you. Like Roderick Strong, does he look grizzled? Yes. Does he look important? Yes. Does he represent the Undisputed Kingdom well? Yeah. And he made it very clear. Look at me. Take those damn glasses off. And Orange did not want to do it. He says, I am going to challenge you at Revolution. Because Orange was getting pissed off. He said, you want to do it now? Let's do it now. Shirt's taken off. But he says, no. Revolution. I'm taking it from you and I want you to maul over it. I want you to make sure you understand that I'm coming for you. Since you weren't bothering about defending it now. I want to give it to you like this. When it came to Trent and Orange, I think they should have had a feud. I'm being honest here. If anybody says, dude, no, he's best friends. No, they got to. After everything Trent has been through and showing that he's more aggressive, what was the end goal for him? If they're not going to really pull the trigger on him dealing with Orange Cassidy and actually going against him, and then Chuck having to try and be a peacekeeper but can't, they needed to have that match set up for Revolution, and we're not getting it. So what happens to Trent? Nothing. Chuck can't wrestle, so Trent is still by himself unless you're going to have Rocky Romero come back, which he's done periodically. But I feel like that's a waste opportunity. They could do something with Trent. They've been doing all this about showing him being way more aggressive, that he wants gold, but then his best friend literally has gold. And the best way for him to do it is become way more aggressive and be his enemy. I'm just saying. Next. We got the 6-man tag. Mogul Affiliates. Well, I should say Embassy, but it kind of feels like the Affiliates because I'm going to be honest here. When you see them go up against Bullet Club Gold, only one thing went through my head. If they win, they need to merge the titles. I'm being honest here. I'm telling you the truth. When that match was started, that was the one thing that came through my head. I want to see Bullet Club Gold win and then having to deal with Acclaimed. Because why isn't Acclaimed wrestling? Aren't they the Trios champion for AEW, not ROH? Why are the Mobile Embassy, who feel like the Mobile Affiliates, are wrestling when it should be... Why? It doesn't even have to be against Bullet Club Gold. Why not? Why? I don't get it. They were just standing in the back when the match was over. And it was not a bad match. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But it's not the point. The point is, you have 2 sets of titles, and one of them is not on Collision. It's on ROH, which is the lowest tier show you have. It's not even Rampage. Rampage is on normal TV. You got it on Honor Club ROH. It feels like the lowest tier. It's low tier. It's Bush League. And I'm not even saying ROH is bad. I'm just saying that you have Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. What's the last show? ROH. And you're showing more stuff from ROH than you are showing from Rampage and Collision. Why aren't they not putting those titles on Collision? Split those damn companies apart. Split them apart and then give them their own titles so they'll feel important. No, you're using the ROH titles. I don't get it. Moving on. My girl, Deonna Purrazzo versus Anna Jay. And we get My Taste is Tony Storm coming to coming a commentary with Mariah May and Luther going, I love Toni Storm. I don't know about anybody else, but when she became this character, she became so freaking hilarious. She knows the best way to make people notice her is to do things so stupid and outlandish that it's so funny. You love it. I don't know about Alex. I know Alex loves it, but I think maybe soon or later he's going to get tired of it, but I'm sorry. I'm not getting tired of Toni Storm. I'm enjoying since she's the only one with a real character. Saraya has no character. Ruby Soho, other than her boyfriend, Parker, I keep forgetting his name. But those two should be working together. But we don't see them here on Dynamite. And I don't know about Collision. I may have to check this Collision this Saturday to see if they're doing something with Parker and Ruby Soho. If they're not, and it's on Rampage, the show that's second to least to be watched, it's stupid. We need something for Ruby. We need something Saraya. And now we have Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa. I kind of miss her original music from TNA now. But they probably own the rights to it and they're not willing to share it. So they're not letting AEW use their music. And tell me if you did hear, because I didn't hear nothing about her when they said she's a multiple-time champion. They didn't mention TNA at all. Guys, they didn't mention TNA at all. They didn't mention TNA at all. They just rebranded back to TNA. And I'm like, dude, if you're willing to work with other companies, you're not acknowledging TNA now? What, really? What's going on here? I mean, yes, let's make it clear. When it came to Kenny, they tried to help. And I'm not going to tell you that it worked. It somewhat gave some interest to Impact Wrestling at the time when it was then. But it really didn't give them a huge amount. And when it came down to it, it wasn't a cross-platform thing. It was just one way. Impact Wrestling. Impact didn't really benefit a lot. Then AEW only got Moose once. And that wasn't enough. They really didn't work together. So I have no clue what's going on here. Unless Tony is getting aggressive or pretty much Scott D'Amore is aggressive and they don't want to even deal with each other anymore. We don't even hear TNA's name mentioned. Isn't that something? They don't, I mean, on TNA, they mention AEW, but on AEW, they don't mention TNA. So what do you think? Leave a comment below what you think. The match was fine. I had no problem with it. In fact, it was very, very competitive. And I'm kind of like, wouldn't it have been better if they built into this match instead of just doing one match after another with the more established wrestlers? Couldn't you bring in one of the other wrestlers from ROH, they're developmental, and give them a moment here where Deonna Purrazzo doesn't have to job? Marina Shafir should have been out there. She could have jobbed to her. Or anyone else. They could have let them job, but no. It's Anna Jay, who's been considered an established wrestler, but's not been doing a lot lately since the Jericho Appreciation Society's broken up. So you let her work her ass off, then job. Yeah, they show respect. You got pretty much the meanest to Milo put on her. But then it feels like they're not really giving much to Anna Jay to do anyway. She doesn't really have much of a personality other than what she was in the Appreciation Society. But it wasn't about her. Setting up Deonna Purrazzo to deal with a tasteless Toni Storm. Do I love the interaction? It wasn't bad. Deonna did alright. Saying she knew her. Saying that, I don't know what happened to you. You never used to be like that. We used to be like family. We used to be like sisters. But now, there's a bit of difference. You knew Deonna Purrazzo then. You do not know the virtuosa now. And basically saying she's coming after her. And the thing that I liked was timeless. I'm just doing it once. timeless. It's timeless to see how ridiculously nuts she acts. When you see Toni Storm get up and say, "How dare you," steps on top of the commentator table, waiting for Luther, and she's pulling her skirt aside so he can get under into her crotch and stand and say, "How dare you!" Throwing shoes at Deonna Purrazzo, saying, "Chin up, tits out." I'm telling you, that is so damn funny. I don't know if any, and I'm making this clear, as far as I know, there's never been any actress in America who's ever done that. Maybe in Australian history of the cinema, they may spoke like that. And I would like to know. You guys tell me below. I did see one Australian movie years ago, BMX. I don't know if anyone's ever remembered that movie, BMX. But that's one of the few I've ever seen. And they were not much different than American TV or movies, but I'm wondering if someone ever said that in movies in Australia. It was funny. I liked it. But will we get anything? I do not know. I'm making this clear. I don't know what the situation is going to be with Deonna Purrazzo, how they're going to book her, and how her character is going to develop if she gets... I'll be so pissed she gets no character. I'm going to be pissed if she gets no character. I'm being honest here. I will be angry. If there's no character, I will be angry. Flat out. Moving on. Okay. Top Flight versus Private Party. Now, if I'm probably wrong, but the last time I've seen Top Flight deal with Private Party might have been almost 2 years ago. Not a year ago. At least 2 years ago, or maybe more easily, when Quinn was gone from the company. That was the last time they worked together. I think he tore his pec, and then he was gone. They didn't bring him back for quite a while either, because when he did recover, they didn't renew his contract, or he didn't want to renew it, and he was just gone from the company. Then Isaiah was trying to work by himself. Then you got Darius, who was in a car accident. And then when things seemed to be all right, when Darius came back, Dante broke his ankle really badly. Twisted that sucker really bad in that match. You know which one I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention it because I can't remember the name of it. But you get my point. I don't think these four guys have worked together for nearly 2 years easily. And we don't get a build up into it. We don't. If anybody says we got to build up, how long is that? 1 week? 1 week. Instead of giving us something special, like we need a match with, let's say, Top Flight, and you get Action and Andretti by the side. We want to do a match because it's been so long since we've seen each other. We want to do a match, and Private Party says no, and they start pestering them, saying that they're under them. I would have liked to see Private Party with an attitude saying, "We don't need you. We did when we first came in this company. We don't need you. We don't need this." And they start having, and let's just make it clear, Top Flight wanted to have a fair match with two guys they've known for a while, and they did huge amounts of matches that were good. I would have liked to see a build-up into it. No. We just get a thrown together match. And I believe it was Quinn, or was it Cassidy? Cassidy or Quinn cheated somewhat. And then Action Andretti's not happy about that, because afterward he's saying, "You cheated." And he said, "No." But that's what we get with Private Party. And that's what I'm trying to say. Where is the story? We don't have any stories for the tag team division. We need it. What are we doing? Now, I'm going to say this. Talk about the tag division. Chris Jericho. I do not know what happened in that match. I know that Big Bill and... I wish I had seen the match between the tag champs when it comes to Chris and Sammy Guevara, because Sammy supposedly got nailed really good. He wasn't working. He broke through some wood pretty heavily from that small snippet they showed. So I don't know how bad it looked, or hopefully he's all right. But the key here is this. When it comes down to it, we're now going to have a match between I'm botching because it's Matt Sydal versus Chris Jericho. For what? Just have a match. Just have a match because Chris lost and Matt Sydal says, I've seen you, you're better than this. Couldn't you at least give it a couple of weeks to make it mean something? I may even put as a title, Where the Builds. Look, I'm saying it right now. If you watch my NXT review, they got builds. We got 4, possible 5 different feuds going in the next couple of weeks before Vengeance Day. What are we getting here? We're just getting straight matches. And I know that's one complaint that just Alex and JD are talking about. But I've been saying it for so long, and it's so ugly how this is. But this is just me, and moving on. Okay. Let's put it in this perspective. I gotta say this when it comes to the Bucks. Did they say a little truth? Let's make this clear. When they had that interview with Renee, who's showing a little bit of leg, sexy looking legs. She got some nice looking legs. I can understand why Moxley married her. She got some nice looking legs. But Nicholas and Matthew are acting like VVPs. I'm like, okay. Then they seem to talk a little bit of honesty. I think they were just throwing a little bit of truth out about toxicity and how toxic the roster was or is. And they said they love Sting, but they need to end Sting because he's the end of an era and we don't need that here. That's generally what they said. And that made me think, they are barred. They got a DMCA, guys. If you don't know, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, CM Punk, Ace Steel, they are barred for the rest of their lives from ever talking about it. Well, at least as long as the company exists, or as long as Tony Khan and the company exists, because if they become solvent, or basically they go out of business, I don't know if the DMCA would still be valid. It may. But legally, they can never talk on it. But they could mention a couple of things, and that could be one of the things they mentioned. They didn't mention any names. They're not allowed to. But people can speculate all they freaking want, and we know that was about Punk. A tiny bit of truth. In their perspective. Not saying that CM Punk was wrong about what he said. And I want to make this clear. When that scrum happened again, I want to make this clear. Punk was wrong. Making it clear. That was unprofessional. But if the Bucks and Kenny were acting like that, so were they. But that does not mean they can't send out a speculation of how bad things were. They can never talk on it, but they can make people speculate. So now we're going to wonder how far this match is going to go. If it's going to be a match. Because now we also get the Sting and Darby Allin. And they're talking about they want to be tag champs. Which wouldn't be a bad thing for Sting. They'll finally get a title in the company. But he retires with the old tag titles. They make new ones. And then they have a tournament for the tag titles. I think that might be the wisest thing to do. That would be the best thing they're going to have for AEW. They did the Continental Classic. When Revolution comes and goes and Sting retires, you get Tony Khan saying, no, we don't want you to return the title. We want you to keep it. We're going to get new titles made and we're going to make a tournament. That's what I think would be the wise thing to do, but that's just me. Now, finally, final match of the night. I'm not changing the title. Where are the feuds? Or where's bad booking? Whatever. There's very few feuds that we're dealing with. Very few. This one for Samoa Joe at least has some footing. But I am going to say this before I talk about the match, and I'm going to be honest about it. Do I believe the booking for Swerve was correct? No. The Swerve booking was not correct. Not with Dustin, and definitely not with Keith Lee. He should not had to even deal with either one of them. he should have just been allowed to go away for a little bit. I'm botching because I'm getting pissed here. Look, Swerve deserved to take a couple of weeks away or a month. Come back and do exactly what a Hangman Page did. Go away, come back, and prove how great he is with new people. No, we did not get that. We got Keith Lee, and then Keith could not wrestle because he was injured. He finally couldn't do it anymore. Then he got Dustin, who should have been destroyed, but had that long match that made no damn sense. So then we get this match between Samoa Joe and Hook. And I know all that. Why are you letting Hook have this? Then they're talking about why are you letting a Jinder Mahal. Guys, stop. Right now, both companies need to do something with their mid-card. I'm telling you right now, this is someone who's been observing this for quite a while. They have not done much with their mid-card. WWE, even under Triple H, have not done much with the mid-card. When it comes to AEW, the same thing. They need to do something with the mid-card. Do I believe it's right with Jinder Mahal? No. But once they did something with The Rock and it caught fire, they had to take advantage of it. Jinder's a mid-carder. We know this. But the moment he had that interaction with The Rock, it exploded way more than they expected, so they had to take advantage of it, and they took it. Hopefully now Jinder's done, and he should be. Counting on what's going to happen with Seth and his injury. But now with Hook, as I've always said, if there's a mid-carder that has something, throw him at the main title or one of the bigger titles than he or she has ever had and see what happens. See if the crowd will get behind them. See if they can make the promos work. See if they can make the match itself mean something by either working with the person who's current title holder or learning how to work with that person who's the title holder, or maybe take control and show if they're a ring general or not. This is what is good for the mid-card. Sometimes someone gets elevated just as a test and then they're brought back. And then we see what the people think. This is what we got in this match. We got Samoa Joe coming out. We got Hook coming out. And Hook got his ass annihilated. Yes. He did get some good hits in Samoa Joe. No problem. Good. But he got himself annihilated. When he got thrown into the announce table, no, the commentary table, not the announce table, it imploded. He took such a hard hit. And legitimately, Taz got upset. I mean, Taz and Samoa Joe have known each other for years. When they were in Impact Wrestling, TNA, then Impact Wrestling, Hook knew him as an actual, like an uncle, because he was working so much with Samoa Joe. His son knew him. So seeing that he got annihilated a bit, legitimately looked like it might have gotten Taz a bit upset, because he did get worried. That's what happens with a father. Now, the thing I would have liked, for me personally, if this was built correctly, because this is just a quick thing, no story behind it, just, well, Hooks has 29-1, why not go after the champ? Why not call out the champ? Fine. But I would have liked them to build up into it, show that Samoa Joe says, you got to give me proper criteria. Go through 3 more people, and then I'll give it to you. That would have been all right. 3 more weeks of seeing that Hook had to do something. Hook didn't mess with Joe, and then we get this match. And then you see a little bit of Taz getting upset and playing into it and wanting to be out there for his son. And he gets off commentary, goes over to his son. That would have been good, but no. But in the end, what did we get? Match was good. Samoa Joe put him out. And then we get the Swerve and the Hangman Page. There is story with them. And now they're going to be doing with Samoa Joe, which is fine. But that's all we got, and I don't like that. They need to work on the stories. They need more better builds. But this is just me. Peace.